Peter Rabbit has some startling news. Chapter 4. Little Mrs. Peter Rabbit, who used to be Little Miss Fuzzytail, sat at the edge of the old briar patch, anxiously looking over toward the green forest. She was worried. There was no doubt about it that little Mrs. Peter was very much worried. Why didn't Peter come home? She did wish that he would be content to stay closer to the dear old briar patch. For her part, she couldn't see why, under the sun, he wanted to go away over to the green forest. He was always having dreadful adventures and narrow escapes over there. And yet, in spite of it all that she could say, he would persist in going over there. She didn't feel easy in her mind 1 minute while he was out of her sight. To be sure, he always turned up all right, but she couldn't help feeling that sometime his dreadful curiosity would get him into trouble that he couldn't get out of. And so every time he went into the green forest, she was sure, absolutely sure, that she would never see him again. Now, Peter used to laugh at her and tell her that she was a foolish little dear, and he was perfectly able to take care of himself. Then he saw how worried she was and how he promised to be more careful, very careful, and never do anything rash or foolish. But he wouldn't promise not to go to the green forest. No, sir, Peter Rabbit couldn't promise that. You see, he had so many friends over there, and there's always so much news to be gathered, that he couldn't keep away. Once or twice he was induced by Mrs. Peter to go with him, but she'd been frightened almost out of her skin every minute, for it seemed to her that there was danger lurking behind every tree and under every bush. It was, after all, very well for Chatter the Red Squirrel and Happy Jack the Gray Squirrel, who would jump from tree to tree. But she didn't think it was safe and proper place for a sensible rabbit, and she said so. This particular morning she was unusually anxious. Peter was gone all night. Usually he was home by the time Old Mother West Wind came down from the purple hills and emptied her children, the little merry little breezes, and they'd out of her big bag to play all day in the green meadows. But this morning, Old Mother West Wind had been a long time gone about her business, and still there was no sign of Peter. Something has happened. I just know something has happened, she wailed. Oh, Peter Rabbit, why would you be so heedless? Why would you take such dreadful risks? So foolish and so needless. Don't worry. Peter is smart enough to care for himself, cried one of the little merry breezes, who happened along at just that time to overhear her. He'll be home pretty soon. In fact, I think I see him coming now. And Mrs. Peter looked at the direction of the merry little breezes were looking. And sure enough, there was Peter. He was started straight for the old briar patch. And he was running as if he was trying to show how fast he could run. And Mrs. Peter's heart gave a little frightened thump. Oh, it must be Reddy, or Granny Fox, or Old Man Coyote is right behind him at his heels, thought she. But look hard as she would, she couldn't see nothing to make Peter run so fast. In a few minutes, he reached her side. Her eyes were very wide, and it was plain to see that he was bursting with important news. What is it, Peter? Do tell me quick. Have you seen another narrow escape, grasped Miss Peter? Peter nodded while he was panting for breath. There's another stranger in the green forest, a terrible-looking fellow without legs or a head or a tail, and he almost caught me, cried Peter. God is great all the time, all the time.